And that is the reason why it has resulted into highly leveraged balance sheets in this country. I think it's a major social objective and commercial objective which we need to achieve by scaling up the distributors. But how to really do that? That is something, unless and until there is an economic sense in all this, it will probably not make any sense to anybody, maybe youngsters or anybody. There has to be some viability, some kind of a level which has to be achieved. Of course, it's one business where the margins are very thin, but then what really can make a difference is the volumes. And to achieve those kind of volumes, I think it is absolutely essential that we have to ride on the technology which is available, and we have to provide that technology to the distributors so that they are in a position to scale up their activity. The business level which they are doing, it should go up multiple times. There probably we as manufacturers can come as a support and can provide such kind of gadgets, or maybe one such kind of investments can be made by manufacturer in collaboration with the distributor so that they are in a position to reach very large number of population who can invest into such kind of products. But I think more important is that those, apart from getting them on board and asking them to sell, would be that there should be conviction into the kind of schemes which they are trying to market. And to achieve that conviction, of course, some kind of education is always welcome. But I think they need to, we need to share with them the positive experience which has been there in the past, which they may not be aware of. So something like that, unless and until they know the positive experience, they will not have the conviction. And without conviction, their sale will be always incomplete. So I think this is something equally important which we need to encourage, which we need to embed into their skill. And that is the only way we can probably reach out to many more. But believe me, the potential is huge, potential is humongous. Probably the product is not known to many. And I would say that practically in this country, the professionals like doctors and all those kind of people are spread out in the nook and corner of this country. But typically speaking, they don't have the right set of guides who can probably advise them that what they should do. It may not be a bad idea if some of the practicing chartered accountants can also be reached because they have a critical mass of their own. They have an ability to really acquire some new business lines also, because as things are evolving, maybe they can also be reached and we can try and get them on board. It will be one of the diversified stream of business which they can get into, but through this, they will be in a position to create value for their customers, which will create the bonding. So I think these are some of my thoughts on this.
Fantastic. Vishal, your opening thoughts?
Thanks, Rajiv. Hello. Yeah. I think I'd like to just add to the comments already with maybe 3 further suggestions. The first one is around how do we really expand the number of distributors out there. And I think banks have a large role to play. If we look back, banks came into distribution of financial products many, many years back and started with foreign banks, went into private sector banks. But actually the largest part of banking, which is public sector banks, is really, I don't think it's as embedded today in just number of people who could be accessing. And when we look at the network and reach that public sector banks enjoy, it's probably unparalleled. Now, of course, we all understand in the room the complexities of offering funds. It's not that simple, and you do need to upgrade your level of knowledge, understanding, training, market cycles, etc. But I think simple products which could be produced, including fixed income or SIPs, etc., which I think public sector banks should start offering, could lead to a huge amount of increase in the penetration that I think funds have. And the twin objective over there would be not just getting started, but actually the public sector bank's employee connect with the customer is so great that you will lead to a huge explosion in investor understanding. Now you must start there, but that investor will eventually graduate into other products, etc. So I think we will achieve the larger purpose of having a lot more investors come into the community. So that I would think is one area that could provide a huge increase in the number of people offering funds. My second two thoughts is really around the current set of distributors and what can we do to try and expand. At one level, I think we all agree that, yes, this is a very exciting product and it serves a very good cause. But we have to ask ourselves, why is the number of distributors shrunk? There used to be more than 10 times a few years back. Now it's only 10,000. And at the heart of it is an economic model that we have to address. And in that, I think we've spent a lot of time trying to push up revenue. But we have to equally look at pushing down cost. Now, I think all of us are entrepreneurs, businessmen, etc. This is a profession for us. If our costs were to come down, and costs come down because processes become more efficient, duplication is reduced, and a lot of the technology that we see manufacturers investing to serve the customer can also be spent on serving us, then I think there is a big lift that we would have in our business. Yeah. For example, there is a fair amount of advertising we see where a fund is, of course, targeting clearly the customer. Many years back, this used to be a B2B model, which is the manufacturer would target the advisor or the distributor and say, look, you go out and market to the customer. Now, increasingly, I think there's a bit of confusion. The manufacturer, the fund house is also going to the customer saying, you come to me directly. If the same thing could be done through a distributor, I think there's a huge multiplier effect that we would see in the industry. So that would be number two, which is let's work together to get some cost reduction, to get some processes streamlined. There are only a few R&D agents. I don't see why it is so difficult to get some formats agreed that can be consistent, and distributors don't have to multiply and duplicate all the processing that we have to do. Even simple things like reconciliation, etc., just spends so much time and effort for us to do. So let's get that automated. And the third area, I think, is, end of the day, again, this is a profession, there is a business. For any business person to invest, you need some clarity and some consistency in the direction of policy. Now, if policy or regulation keeps changing very frequently, then for any business to invest significantly is going to be a challenge. So if I'm going to invest into a business plan for the next 6 months and then the policy changes and my business is dead, I'm going to be very, very, very cagey about investing again after that. So we have to work together as an industry between distributors, manufacturers, and regulator to put a roadmap to say, look, if this is what we want to do, let's put some concrete steps to see how we will get to that. And that, I think, is very achievable. I think all of us are on the same page. We all want the same thing. We want our investors to be happy, to be long-term, to make money. But I think if there are policy shifts which are very, very disturbing, then any businessman will take a step back. We should work with the regulator and get policy framework agreed, or a roadmap created, and we can all work together and join in that effort.
No, great points, Vishal. Karan, in a new avatar now.
Yes. Pehle to I'll go back to what Ramesh ji was saying. Ramesh ji summed it up by उनके 3 points थे. One, he said कि 25 साल की उम्र वाले नौजवानों को distribution में आना चाहिए. I think that's one point he said. Second, customers should be happy. There should be a list of happy customers. And the third point he made was using part of IAP money for distribution expansion. Ramesh ji, am I right? Those were the 3 points you made. Yeah. And now I couple it up with Rajiv, what you said about action items from tomorrow morning. See, for 25-year-old people, younger generation to come and sell distribution products, they need to have the infrastructure. So what I'm committing to everyone out here is that there is infrastructure ready. What I will do from our side is actually, that's my dream project. Have this advertisement coming up in newspapers that here is the infrastructure, please come and use it. And that infrastructure has to be open architecture. There are many things that exist today also. There is NSE, there is BSE, there is IFA, there is MFU, but the people are not aware of it. So the first thing that we will do as a mutual fund company is that we've created this open architecture infrastructure. I will now start talking about it. Second, never ever talk about products. It is immaterial because the world of the consumer is all about their goals. So my humble request is both from an asset management company and from the distribution world, stop talking products, please start talking the world of dreams. the consumers are least bothered about our language. So as a AMC, we've decided to stop talking products. That is our single biggest learning. And the third thing is about distribution, expansion, money from IAP. As a recommendation to AMFI, what we've actually suggested is that for every new distributor ARN that comes into the business, IAP money should be used. It's a recommendation we made. We've been pushing hard for it. I think if we can kind of use some of that IAP money for a new ARN, it'll be money well spent.
Excellent, fantastic. If that happens, that's quite amazing. No, a colleague of mine, I tried to get deeper into his mind, and I asked him that, why do you work? You know, what do investors want was the earlier session. I was trying to get into a person's mind, why do you really work? And he came up with a very interesting formula, 3 R's. I work for 3 R's, not Rajiv, but reward, respect, recognition, and reward. Respect, recognition, and reward. I tried to run that same formula over our community and our inner, deeper feelings. Do we feel respected as a community? In the society, do we feel respected? What is written about us in the media? How we are treated by our principal companies? The attitude of regulators, do we feel respected? How many of us feel that we do not really feel respected? So the self-esteem, I mean 60–70% people raise hands, the self-esteem of the distribution community is not as high as it should be. So sir, as a leading light in asset management industry, and you have come from banking, and you brought in with you a very fresh, set of thoughts. One thing which we can do tomorrow morning is some kind of a recognition initiative. Not only so far what AMCs have done is recognition rewards on the basis of quantum of AUM, quantum of sales done. How about quality of selling? How about quality of investor servicing? How about having Filmfare Awards or Oscars? Aging of assets. All the quality parameters, how on persistency, how can we have some initiatives, and let's say SBI Mutual Fund leads something like this, and others, follow you, Karan. This is something you can think of. Yeah, I just wanted your thoughts, sir, on something like this.
I think it's rightly mentioned, because eventually, unless and until there is a longevity of the investment, it is not really creating the value for the investor too. Yeah. On the other side, of course, intermediaries are making effort. Yeah. But I look at it this way, that our consumers are the intermediaries, like the investment IFAs and the national distributors. But your consumers are the investors. Yeah. So unless and until you create value for your consumer, you will have problems in acquiring new customers. Yeah. And it is all known that cost of acquiring new customers is much higher than servicing the existing customers. Having said that, I'm all game for it, that we must respect the fact that a particular investor stay invested into a scheme and has come through a particular distributor. That's most welcome. And we are always happy to acknowledge this kind of a contribution. Yeah. And we will embed it also in our evaluation metrics. Fantastic. It's already being thought about, yeah. But now we will make it.
Yeah. Just carrying on this thought, that LIC has become LIC based upon a very systematized recognition, not only reward, but recognition mechanism, the $1 million roundtables, all these qualitative initiatives, all as an agent, as a high-performing agent or doing some quality initiative, when you go, you are honored with a shawl around you, and you are given that respect, which motivates you to go back and do more and more. So that was one thought. Karan, if you would like to just add to this idea.
So here is this respect ki baat karte hain 2 minutes, because it's an important topic. 60% of you all raise your hands. every morning when you wake up and kind of do what you do, go to office, and do you realize what we do? We are actually responsible for changing the lives of our investors over their lifetime. I personally can't think of a more noble profession to be in. And I have asked myself n number of times, okay, will I do something else? The answer is a big no. Because 10 years later, 20 years later, there are people's lives that we are changing. To my mind, it is the most noblest profession ever possible. So please, just come from that angle. As far as recognition and all of that, I think some very valid points, Rajiv. I completely agree to that. Perhaps the way to do it is not through individual asset management companies. Perhaps institutionalize those awards and programs at an industry level. I think that is when serious recognition would come through. I'm not sure if, if we all 45 AMC started doing it on our own, it would make sense. There is data available. We should get this all done at one common place and make it like an annual industry recognition program.
Fantastic. And Kakar?
No, especially I like.
Yes, sir. If we can have a mic. And this is the time we want. Sir?
My mind. He just took the thought out of his mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, the point was, I was also alluding to the same thing. Ideally, most of these things are best done at AMFI level.
Correct.
AMFI has recently started a very good television campaign for creating awareness for mutual funds. About giving advertisements through AMFI for creating awareness to become a distributor. The moment I walked in this hall in the morning, the first thought that crossed my head, it was a fund managers panel going on. And the thought that crossed my mind, and I'll say it without any filter, that it is us, people sitting on this side, who have made heroes out of these people. It is upon AMCs to make heroes out of all of us. Can that be a quid pro quo? How the people in this community, there are people in this community who are in business for 50 years, for 25 years, for 10 years, more than the tenure, it is the quality of work they have done. Somebody has gone to some rural area and worked with tribal women and got them into mutual fund investing. There are people who have done 100 rupee micro SIPs and have created lakhs of accounts, and they are still not profitable, but they are sustaining their business for the last 5 years. There are several models I have come across. What is the kind of recognition on a public platform, ideally through AMFI, we can give them? And if AMFI would take time, let's say a month or 2 or 6 to start, I think we have 2 powerful AMCs sitting here. If something, sir, we start at our own level, it can be taken on at an industry level. So at this stage, friends, what we wanted to do, this was a kind of a warm-up. We want you to give ideas, the action agenda for how we can deepen the distributor reach from 10,000 to 100,000. What is it we can do tomorrow? Actionable ideas, and keep it as brief as possible. Please, the mic to reach, sir. Please raise your hand first so that your mic arrives well in time. After you.
Good afternoon, panel. It's very happy to share that बीच में एक CNBC एडवाइज़र अवार्ड हुआ था, और जिनको देख के हम लोग बड़े हुए हैं, मिस्टर के बजाज को 50 साल सर्विस पूरा करने के बाद CNBC अवार्ड मिला था, UTI को भी 50 साल हुआ, उनको भी मिला. एंड आई एम वेरी फॉर्चुनेट कि उस दिन उनसे बात हुई, एंड एट द टाइम ही टोल्ड वेरी हम्बली कि मुझे बहुत दुख होता है कि 50 साल काम करने के बाद आज ये अवार्ड मिल रहा है. जैसे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड, जब अवार्ड दादा साहब फाल्के अवार्ड जब वो बुढ़े हो जाते हैं सब मिलता है, तो ऐसा अगर हम लोग एमपी हम लोगों से पैसे लेती है लाइसेंस रिन्यूअल के, क्यों एमपी ऐसा नहीं कर सकती कि जो सक्सेस हीरोज़ हैं हमारे, उनकी स्टोरी वो अपने वेबसाइट पे पब्लिश करें? क्योंकि हमारे इसमें बेसिकली लीडर कोई दिखता नहीं है. जब तक लीडर नहीं दिखेगा तब तक फॉलोअर नहीं बनेंगे. वी शुड पोर्ट्रेट द लीडर जिन्होंने 25 साल 50 साल काम किए हैं, उनको आप हीरो बनाइए, उनको लीडर बनाइए। सेकेंड थिंग, वी स्ट्रेस ओनली ऑन इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज। क्यों? क्या पूरी अपनी 125 करोड़ की आबादी सिर्फ इंग्लिश ही जानती है? हम लोग एक बाजू बोलते हैं कि हिंदी में रखो, हिंदी हमारी मातृभाषा है, हिंदी में हम लोग क्यों लिटरेचर नहीं लाते? क्यों हिंदी में हम लोग इसको डेवलप नहीं करते? क्यों हिंदी में हम लोग ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम नहीं करते हैं? 25 साल के बच्चे आप लोग बोलते हैं कि आना चाहिए, ऐसे कितने ग्रामीण में बच्चे बैठे हैं, रूरल एरिया में बैठे हैं, उनको जाके कौन देखता? उनको एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी कौन देगा? सिर्फ टाई पहन के नहीं होगा, एमपी को जाना पड़ेगा।
एक्सीलेंट, एक्सीलेंट, थैंक यू, वेरी गुड।
उनके लिए एमपी ने एक काम करना चाहिए, एमपी ने उनके लिए फी माफ कर देना चाहिए। Those who are coming from the tier 4 cities, tier 3 cities, and if they want to make career in this field, they have to exempt the fee for them. Second thing, एक मैन्युफैक्चरर से भी मेरी गुजारिश है, हम लोग जब दिल में आया क्लब मेंबरशिप बनाते हैं, लॉयल्टी प्रोग्राम बनाते हैं, फिर कभी मार्केट खराब हो गया, लॉयल्टी प्रोग्राम बंद कर देते हैं। दिस शुड बी ऑनगोइंग बेसिस। जैसा बजाज साहब ने बोला, LIC करती है, LIC ने कभी ऐसा बंद नहीं किया क्लब मेंबरशिप। हम लोग जब अपने को पैसा मिलता है तब हम लोग करते हैं, जब नहीं मिलता तो बंद कर देते हैं। जो लोग आज 25 साल, 30 साल, 50 साल से काम कर रहे हैं, उनके फ्यूचर के लिए हम लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं? एमपी उनको देगा कुछ पैसा रिटायरमेंट के लिए?